Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pharmacypedia. This is Dr. Shikha Chauhan, and in this session I am going to discuss with you a topic from regulatory affairs which talks about marketing authorization procedures. In this session I am going to brief about what are the different procedures being followed worldwide for getting marketing authorization. So before starting with the session, I just want to say, if you have still not subscribed to my channel Pharmacypedia, please do like, share and subscribe to Pharmacypedia for getting further updates and important content related to pharmacy. So let us begin this session. So the very first question which arises in the mind is that what is marketing authorization? So it is a simple document which provides you the approval from the regulatory agency present in any part of the country to sell or market your product. So as the term indicate, from the marketing authorizations, marketing. So if a pharmaceutical company wants to market their product in other countries, they need to have the approval. They need to have the authorization, and these authorizations are granted by the regulatory bodies present in different parts of the country where you want to market your product. So if you want to market your product in suppose Germany or France or US, you need to get this document, marketing authorization, so that you can market your product over there. So like when a pharmaceutical company manufactures a product, they need to market it in several countries, and for that they need to get this document. So this approved document is the only happy moment when they receive this document. So like talking about how do we get this document, so it is being obtained by an application process. So you go for any sort of the documentation, so for getting that document you need to apply for it. So in a similar way, for getting the marketing authorization, the company has to put up marketing authorization application. So again, this is into a certain format. So you have to fill the form. You have to fill the form completely. Along with that, you have to attach your dossier. Since this is a formal process, your document, your dossier has to be structured. So all the pharmaceutical companies legally requires this marketing authorization for every product they want to market, they want to sell, and this marketing authorization only provides for this you need to submit the application, and this application contains all the information about your product in a particular way. So you must have heard about the CTD format. So for that you need to prepare the dossier, incomplete dossier from module 1 to module 5, and then with this application you want to have the authorization to market the product. So my dear students, the marketing authorization application has to be put up into the regulatory agency in a comprehensive dossier known as the CTD document. So like it is a structured document and have 5 modules: module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4 and module 5. So there is a particular way by which these are standardized, these are being prepared. So like every regulatory agency is unique, they have their requirements. So this document form, this particular technical document has to be prepared as per their individual requirement. So like there are worldwide different regulatory agencies being there worldwide. For example, in Europe it is EMEA, in India CDSCO, UK MHRA, Australia TGA. So these are the names of the regulatory bodies being present in these respective countries. For Japan it is MHLW, Canada HC, Health Canada, Brazil ANVISA, South Africa MCC, Medicines Control Council, US FDA. So like these are the specialized regulatory agencies being present in these respective countries. So if any pharmaceutical company wants to market their product into their country, they need to get the approval, they need to have the authorization from these regulatory bodies. So this is just an insight into the dossier part. I told you like there are 5 modules: module 1, module 2, module 3, and module 4 and 5. So module 1 basically comprises the information which is regional specific. Module 2 is basically comprising of the summary of the complete module. So it contains the summary for your clinical part, non-clinical part, everything. So it is just the gist of the complete CTD format. Then module 3 is the quality part. This is the most important part, or you can say this is the heart of your dossier. Then module 4 is specifically containing all the studies, all the non-clinical study reports. Then module 5 is about the clinical study reports. My dear students, I'm going to start with the European continent. So if a company wants to market their product, they need to get the authorization from their regulatory body, EMEA. So in European Union, there are 27 member states. When I say member states, so Europe is comprising of 27 countries. So these 27 countries have their individual regulatory body, but there is a single body, EMEA. So if a company wants to market the product in all of their member states, they have set different ways by which you can enter the European market. So this is just an overview of all the countries in the European Union. With the introduction of the Brexit applicable from January 31, 2020, UK is now not the part of the European Union. So like they will be having their own rules and regulations and their own regulatory body, whereas for the rest of the European Union, again 27 member states are there. Talking about the EMEA agency, EMEA regulatory body, they have the network of several committees. They have set up several committees to deal with different sorts of the product. So for example, if the product belongs to the herbal category, it will reach the committee for herbal medicinal products. So you can see they have several committees like human medicinal products, CHMP. Then pediatric committee, PDCO. Committee for Herbal Medicinal Product, HMPC. Pharmacovigilance Risk Assessment Committee. Committee for Veterinary Medicinal Products and Committee for Orphan Medicinal Products. Committee for Advanced Therapeutics. So my dear students, there are 4 ways by which you can get the approval in the European Union. The first is the centralized procedure, mutual recognition procedures, decentralized procedure, and national procedures. We are going to discuss them in detail one by one. So these are the 4 ways by which a pharmaceutical company can get the authorizations from European Union. So talking about the main motto of the regulatory agency is that they are basically concerned with the quality, safety, and efficacy part of your product. They just want to ensure that the product you want to market is completely safe, is having high good quality, is completely efficacious, so that they provide a check before it reach to their public. My dear students, from these ways, there are these 4 ways. Let us try to understand how if you are applying as a pharmaceutical company and in how many member states you are able to reach. So the first thing you should be completely aware of is that if you go through the centralized route, so as the term indicates, centralized, you will be reaching all the EU member states, all the member countries, 27 member countries. If you apply through the mutual recognition procedure, you will be reaching more than 1 member states. Decentralized procedure, you will again be reaching more than 1 member states. Through national procedure, you can just like target a single country. So if it's a small companies, they are small pharmaceutical company, they just want to market in a particular country, for example Germany or Norway, so they can apply through the national procedure, but this will only authorize their product to being marketed in that specific country. So if you want to market for more than 1 country, you will have to either go for the centralized procedure or mutual recognition procedure or decentralized procedure. From the centralized procedure, you can reach to all the member states at the same time. All the countries in the European Union, you can market your product. Now coming to the mutual recognition procedures and decentralized procedure that we are going to see later in later part of my presentation. So again, this is about the basic difference between all these four routes. Now, what is the benefit of the centralized procedure for EU citizens? So medicines are authorized in all the European Union. So if you go through the centralized procedure route, you can at the same time enter into all the countries belonging to the European region. Moreover, it is completely safe, and it at the same time provides the product information which is available in all the EU languages at the same time. Now talking about this EMEA, it basically comprises of a scientific evaluation. So whatever dossier is being submitted by the pharmaceutical company, first it gets evaluated, it gets assessed from the Committee for Medicinal Products for Human Use, CHMP, and the maximum time period which is they takes is usually 210 days. 210 days they take to evaluate, assess, and give their final decision. Talking about the centralized procedure, there are certain categories of the pharmaceutical products which are basically mandatory to go through the centralized procedure only. For example, your biotechnology products, your orphan medicinal products containing new active substances or specific drug component. For example, the drugs belonging to the category of HIV, AIDS, cancer, diabetes, neurodegenerative disease, or if the drug product is like for the treatment of autoimmune and other immune dysfunctions, viral disease, or it is being derived from biotechnology process, or like used as in gene therapies, somatic cell therapies, tissue engineering medicines, or orphan medicines, or it is belonging to veterinary medicine. So in that case, the company has to go through the centralized procedure route. Now other optionals which can also like go through the centralized procedure route is like your new active substances or like other innovative substances. So the normal procedure being followed for the evaluation is like first you have to target a one member state, then the rapporteur team will evaluate your dossier, then the complete committee will review and provide you comments if they find it, and then it forwards to the respective sponsors. So if any sort of the rectification or explanation is desired at that stage, that is being done, and then finally the drafts is being produced. Talking about the different sorts of the steps being followed is that once after you submit your marketing authorization application, it takes 70 days to get that assessment. Then these reports are being sent up to the respective committees, which further records the applicant responses to their queries. So they completely check the document, they evaluate it, they provide their comments, and it is completely reviewed. They allow the pharmaceutical company to give clarifications, and if they are satisfied, then only you can like have that authorization approved. Talking about the second method, which can be utilized by the pharmaceutical company, is the national authorization procedure. This route is like chosen by the companies when they actually want to market the product or want to have the authorization in a single country among all the 27 member states. So they don't want to market the product at the same time in all the countries, but they are basically targeting it into a single country. So the product being useful through this route are like their therapeutically innovative products, OTC products. So OTC products generally don't need the prescription. Talking further about the other sorts of the medicaments being going through the national authorization procedure is your generic medicine. So all the generic medicines generally not belonging into the centralized procedure category can move through the national authorization procedures. So my dear students, you can see and clearly differentiate between the centralized procedure and national procedure. Through national procedure, you can like market and have the authorization in a single country. So the Germany is just an example, any single country. And through the centralized route, you can get the authorization to market your product in all the member states of your European Union. Talking about the other two routes, mutual recognition procedures and decentralized procedures. So my dear students, in mutual recognition procedure, as the term indicate, mutual recognition. So if you get the approval in one of the member states through the national route, and then you later on you decide that you want to approval in other member states, in selective other countries. For example, you have taken approval through national procedure in one of the country, then again you decide after some time that I want to market my products in further 4 more countries of European Union. So in that case you can go and apply the authorization through the mutual recognition procedures. So in this you are going to get the benefit, because since earlier you have the authorization in one of their countries, so they provide you benefit in that way. So they basically understand that since you have already got the authorized, that means your product is safe and efficacious, and so some sort of the waivers you are being provided, and your application moves fast. On the other hand, the decentralized procedure, as the term indicates, decentralized, you want to apply to many countries, but your product is still not having authorization in any of the member state. So suddenly you think a company decides that we want to market in many countries of the European Union, but not all the countries. For example, if they want to market in 8 of the countries, so and they have not got any sort of authorization through the national procedure route, so in that case they will have to move ahead with the decentralized procedure. So you can have approval in 7 to 8 member states, 7 to 8 countries. So my dear students, you can understand through the mutual recognition procedure you already have the product approved in one of the countries, and later on you decide to market in another few countries. So in the one country from where you already have the approval, your product is into the market, becomes your reference member state, RMS. And then the other countries where you want to market through the mutual recognition procedure becomes your concerned member state. So CMS stand for concerned member states, and RMS is your reference member state. So through the in the MRP procedure route, again the timeline is 210 days only, and you have RMS, and since you already have the authorization, so the path becomes easy for you. Coming to the decentralized procedures, the company is not in any market, but they suddenly decide that they will market the product in not all the member states, but few selected. So in that case, they go ahead for the decentralized procedure, and in this decentralized procedure, basically they go at the same time if they have the approval. So this is some sort of the differentiation whereby you can understand that decentralized procedure again takes the 210 days. So moreover, the time limits is being defined to 210 days. Now coming to the US FDA. So when we talk about the US FDA, they don't talk in terms of your marketing authorization application. Instead, there are two things they talk about. That is about your IND application. So once your product is developed, it has to be undergo the clinical trials. So for getting the clinical trials, it has to go through the IND application, investigational new drug application. So once the drug is found in the clinical trials and that it is meeting all the criteria, then it will go ahead for NDA application, new drug application. So they don't talk in terms of marketing authorization application, they talk in terms of IND applications, NDA applications, and ANDA application. So again, more or less the protocol remains the same, that you have to apply the application through the CTD in the CTD format only, but you cannot go directly for the authorization. First you have to apply through the IND route, and then once you're for the new drug I'm talking about, then you have to go for the NDA application. And if you talk about the generic, you have to go for the ANDA application. Now this is about the CIS countries. CIS countries were into the developing countries. So in that case, you need to apply to the basic format of this CTD, and you have to submit all the documents. Then their regulatory agency will evaluate, and once they find it feasible, they are going to make the decisions whether they are going to allow your application or not. If some sort of the clarifications are being required at any of the stage, then in that case they will require clarification as well. Talking about the India, in India basically if you have to market the product you have to apply again through the CDSCO. So like this is our regulatory body, and you have to like in a similar way of the US, you have to go for the IND application first and then NDA application. So you have to apply the there is a drug approval process flowchart. In this you can see that you have to place a application for the new drug registration. So this is basically the difference between the US and European Union. So if for the US you have to apply to FDA for permission to conduct clinical studies and then transport drugs across the states. Whereas in European Union you can have the application with one or more than one country for approval to conduct clinical studies, and each state designates its own regulatory body that will carry out your approvals. So in the case of US, you can see there is new drug application to the FDA, NDA. Whereas in European Union, as we have discussed earlier, there are 4 routes: centralized, market recognition, decentralized, and national route. This table basically gives you clarity about the difference in the fee structure which is being involved. So if you see US, you can see around about 2 million, 2 million rupees is required for NDA application, $2 million. So you can see for ANDA it is, the figure comes around $51,000. Whereas for the European Union you can see it is in euros. So you can check out the figures for euros. For UK it is exceptionally mentioned because after Brexit UK is out of the European Union. Then for India you can see 50,000 rupees is required in case you wanted to market your product into the Indian continent. Coming to the conclusion. So although the procedures in different parts of the world may seem to be different, the names are different, but one thing you can say is common among all of them is that regulatory agencies are looking forward for the quality, safety, and efficacy of the drug. So like with the ICH recommendations, they continuously look forward for the quality of the product. And also you can see in several parts different regulatory agencies have difference in the fees involved for the application or the review process, time taken for the review process, but more or less it is somewhere around 12 to 18 months in different parts of the country, different parts of the world globally. So like you can say that with this structured form of the application, with the structured form of the authorization, and with the ICH recommendation, harmonization is existing in the drug approval process, and it is in the benefit of the public only that regulatory bodies regularly upgrade themselves, regularly have the compliance with the regulations, because these legislations require drug to be developed, drug to be tested well and manufactured in accordance to the guidelines. Apart from that, GLP and GMP requirements are also like taken care of so that ultimately you can have a safe and protected medicines. The approval time in most of the countries lies within the range of 12 to 18 months. The fees for the new drug approval in the US is very high as compared to Europe and India. I would like to end the presentation with a thank you note. So you can see like Abdul Kalam sir quote, "Dream is not that which you see while sleeping. It is something that does not let you sleep." Thank you so much. If you have still not subscribed to my channel Pharmacypedia, please do like, share, subscribe to Pharmacypedia for getting further updates and important content related to pharmacy. Thank you so much.